feeling better, there was one moment where me and my ex-husband, we were at each other, and it was like this like golden moment where I realized he no longer could affect me, that like my insides were tranquil and I had complete control.
Intergalactic beings of multi-dimensional realities. Welcome to Channeling.
Alecia, I'm so happy that you're here, and I'm going to introduce you to everyone. Alecia Iwanchuck is a fabulous yoga master. She's a teacher. She loves to share what she's learned from that particular modality. And she's also switched it up, and she calls what she does is somatic yoga therapy. So it's a practice that helps people find trapped energy. Oftentimes when we experience traumatic things in childhood, we can hold that energy within us. And she is one that really helps people move and help that to be expressed and for us to move forward into clean new patterns in our life. And I have to say, my guides are sitting here and cheering you on, Alecia.
Yeah.
I have not had something so powerful. They're like, Alecia, we're cheering you on in this business and what you're doing for yourself here.
Oh,
They're like showing me that you will not only find a love of people online, but you'll find a space that welcomes you, and they will love you. They're going to be holding you dearly, and to keep your heart and eyes open. And it may look different than you ever thought, but it will be beautiful what you come across, and you will feel held and you will feel appreciated. So that's just flowing through my guides to you. I was not expecting that at all. You never know what's going to come through. My guides love to offer blessings, but not as often like this. You know, they're just like, just share it with her. But you have a beautiful gift that you offer to people. You have a beautiful, loving gift, and they are just so encouraging you right now. And Alecia, I wanted to start with this. All of you out there who are being brave and taking your gift out into the world, I hope you feel the love, the support that can be there for you, and just hold to that loving feeling, that essence, that light, and know that you can feel guided and you will find your home, so to speak, the space that really supports you in your expansive experience. So I'm sending that out to everyone, and I'm inviting Alecia for you to talk about your experience coming into yoga. And I know you had a beautiful Kundalini awakening. All of you who have had this, I'm sure you'll recognize and you'll identify with what Alecia is going to share, but I just want to hand it over to you for a moment, Alecia, and tell your story and your love of yoga.
Well, thank you so much, Gwen, for having me. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Yeah, so I guess 2014, I started getting the call to go on a health and wellness journey. I was married at the time, raising a family, working at a law firm. And I just started realizing that I didn't feel good in my body. I felt bloated. I felt icky. And I knew that I had the answers within me. So I started going to the gym, and I started with running, and I started going every morning and making it a very like deep practice. And then I remember at the end, like I would see yoga online. I would see a little yoga. And so I kind of like those stretches. So at the end of my practice, like at the end of my workout, I would do some yoga. And I remember this one morning, she must have been an angel now that I think about it, because she was like, you can go in their yoga room back there, and then you can have some, some just private space. So while I was back there, I had no idea about like energy, about like shamanic journeying or anything like that. But after so I'd work out and then I'd go in this room and I would do my yoga, and then I would sit and I would be by this stream, and I guess I was meditating. But this has come later in my spiritual journey. It was like on a shamanic journey. I was like, okay, I was going to my special place. I just didn't have any like ideas or words. I didn't know, like, right, where this was coming from. And
so to clarify, you'd sit and you'd open up to kind of this special place inside of you with the stream and the flowing. I call this for my people, it's your garden. So you entered your garden.
And that practice was great. My marriage wasn't good. Things were really bad. And from there, I just started seeing the benefits of yoga so much more than the like physical, like heavy duty, just working out. And so I really just started doing more yoga, because it wasn't just that my body was feeling better. There was one moment where me and my ex-husband, we were at each other, and it was like this like golden moment where I realized he no longer could affect me, that like my insides were tranquil and I had complete control of my response. And it was just like this aha moment of like, this is a fucking superpower, like that I can be so grounded, so rooted. So flash forward to 2020. Luckily, we separated. 2020 hit, and I'd always kind of been on an awakening journey since 2012. Like, didn't believe in the mass media, didn't believe in that. So 2020 hit, and I really went for it. And I was able, for the first time, they had Kundalini yoga teacher training online because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So if that wouldn't have happened, like whether or not I would have been able to make it somewhere to take the training. So I was able to train with Gloria Latham, who's an amazing teacher out of Australia. So I took her Kundalini Awakening yoga, and then I also had my 200 hour, and I created Intentions Yoga, which is my business. And that's a whole other, like, that's my soul expressing itself. It just came to me, and then realizing now how unintentionally I was living my life, and how living with intention has become so important to me now. And it's such a game changer. And you can be intentional about the smallest things, and it really does make a difference. So I weave it into everything I do. And
well, I would love to hear a little bit about that intention and how you use it, but I think maybe that will come after you finish up what you're saying, because I'm excited to hear how you use intention.
Yeah. So then starting a business and starting a soul-based business is like, it's the lightning path, because you're doing inside work to do outside work. And I knew I wanted to help people, and I didn't know how I was going to do it. And I didn't know if I was ready. And then you're coming up against all this like imposter syndrome, and I'm not good enough. And like, I just kept going with it, and just kept going with it. And, and then I started to the right people, the right events, the right situations as I got healthier, and just, I started healing and had a bunch of different experiences where stuff was coming up from my childhood that I had held on to. And I guess I should probably say, like, my Kundalini yoga teacher training cost a ton of money. And I had not even taken a Kundalini yoga class, but when I saw that, I was just like, I knew it was my path. I knew it was my path. And the same thing happened with the somatic experiencing, is like, I had not done it, but I knew it was my path. I had to go there. I went and took the training, and it has paid off. So last year, in May of last year, of 2023, I went through an awakening, a Kundalini awakening. Like, everybody's experience is different, but I can, from my own personal embodied experience, like, whoa, this was, so it went for a week, And it was like, it went and it peaked midweek and then came down.
Mm-hmm.
So at the beginning of the week, it was just like getting downloads, but way more than normal, like way, way more than normal. I was just like, whoa. I would just find myself staring off into space because it was like the fabric of reality was opening up and opening up. Like
Yes.
all my clairs opened more than they ever had. And finally, after like day 3, I had to leave work. I had to just go home and lay on the couch, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on. Like, just everything was so much. And it was like I was being pulled across many, many timelines.
Yeah.
Right. And coming smack dab to the forefront of reality. Like, I was in the conscious mind and in the subconscious mind. There was no break. There was nothing that was like going in the background that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
Now, during this, I could not plan. Like, I couldn't write a grocery list to go to the grocery store. However, I could look in my fridge and at the spur of the moment, pick out the best things and make these amazing meals. Like, it was just like, there was this magic. And
yeah, I think that's so amazing that you bring that up, because when we go through these huge, profound awakenings or openings and everything is open, sometimes we find that, it's like someone might think, oh, they shouldn't be able to function at all. But it's like you're functioning in the most magical, needed way in the moment to what is actually important and what is needed in the moment.
And that's kind of like what it allowed me to do, to see what was pertinent, what was important, how I needed to change the energy, how I needed to shift to pull me into that timeline. And I needed to do it in the moment. So on the one, I wasn't really into crystals at this time, but I have a far bigger respect for crystals now. I went to bed, I think it was Friday night. I had a bismuth on my third eye, why I knew to do this, and galena on my solar plexus. And it was like the energy was just rushing. And then all of a sudden, it like was like, ooh, and I was flying through outer space. Like, it was just like, this is it, this is happening. And like, luckily I had spent the last 4 to 5 years like studying esoteric knowledge, studying Kundalini awakening. So I at this time I did have all the, like, I knew, I listened to podcasts, I read the information, I was like, okay, I had context for what was happening to me. So I was just like, wow. And then this next part is something I have never, I don't know, like, nobody's been able to explain this to me, but I almost fell asleep and I started dreaming. And then I was pulled through the veil by Queen Mab. Now, Queen Mab is from Shakespeare. And that doesn't even really mean much to me. But I was pulled through the veil by Queen Mab, and I dealt with what was happening in my dream. And every time I would try to go to sleep, as soon as I'd fall asleep, I'd wake up. And it's like, that was when I was really living. I could see subconsciously why I chose a picture on the wall, all the different information behind it. It was like how everything is connected. And so in this point, I can see how and luckily I knew enough to know that my reality I was experiencing was not somebody else's. And that if I tried to convince them that this was the reality, they were going to think I was batshit crazy. Right.
Yeah.
So, I just went with it. And like I was at home. I have a teenage son. He just, would come up from time to time, and I was able, he knew there was something weird going on with mom, but, but I was nice. I was making food. And, so I was able, as I saw this energy, as I saw these different things that I was holding in my subconscious, I actually used the elements in a way that I didn't know I knew, but I was cord cutting, and I knew to throw things in water or burn things. And I was chanting and yelling, and like everything was coming out of me. And it was like, I knew exactly how to rearrange the energy to make it okay.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind kind of. At the end, it was starting to get too much. I was like, am I ever going to come down to earth again?
Yeah. And
so I finally had to reach out. I reached out to my dad, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know what's happening. And he had an interesting experience when he was younger. So he kind of knew. And he could see that I was still holding it together. Like I wasn't being like, my house was still standing, everything was still in order. So he was really great. And then I cleaned a bunch and I was singing hymns, like at the end, like
Wow.
just singing in these beautiful, like they sounded like Scottish hymns. I wish I would have recorded myself because there was words.
Mm-hmm.
And I would clean things. It's like I would sing to them and it's like, it was like I was grounding my earth angel, right? Like,
Wow.
right. It was so intense. And the last thing I remember taking off the wall was this one mirror, I guess it had to go, and a dead moth all of a sudden fell on the floor.
Wow.
Almost a year to the day, there was a similar moth in my house just this past May, but it was alive. And I was like, I don't know how to get a moth out of the house, right? But eventually I was able to open the door and she flew out. So for me, it was just kind of like, it was just a beautiful sign from the universe, like there was some stuff that needed to switch, stuff that needed to go in order to pull me onto this path, basically, or for me to be probably talking with you here now. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, blessings on all of that. And that you were able to walk through it in a way where you could ground yourself and say, it's okay. I know this is weird and this is awkward and whatever, but it's okay. I get to trust what's happening here. And I think for me, all the awakenings and all the things that I've experienced, it increases my trust more and more and more. And just an ultimate faith and knowledge of love, and that we get to go through these processes, we get to go through deaths and rebirths in order to live the lives that we really truly desire, and gosh, I'm just so grateful to hear about what you did. And I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people listening to this who 2023 was a big year for them. I think 2023 was a big year for a lot of people. And there were so many openings, and just astrologically, what's been coming through has been so intense. It's like if you're on the edge, boom, it's like you can't help but be awakened, and I just love hearing your description of your experience. I can so relate to it. For me, I just would love to hear what your new path is. I use a statement called "in my world," and I say, you say "in my world," and you talk about the qualities of what your world is and how that comes into being for you, and what that means. What you see in your world because of it. So, what is your world, Alecia?
Oh, yeah. In my world is just like complete surrender to whatever is in front of me, because I've done the work to make sure that I'm in the right place. And in my world, I have the time to do what I love, to bring forth what is inside me to help humanity in the best possible way, in the best way I can serve. In my world, my loved ones and family are cared for and supported, and we can talk about the good times. There's excitement, there's passion, there's projects, there's inspiration. Yeah, something that came to me today. I was writing a potential client, and I was like, this work is hard, and I'm like, but it's not. It's nicer when you have like a cheerleader cheering you on alongside. And then I just got chills, and I'm like, that's what I want to be. Like, I want to be a cheerleader for people. I want them, like, I don't know if Lord of the Rings, did you ever watch those
Oh,
shows?
yes. Oh, yeah. Are you Samwise?
Yes. I want to be Sam.
That's so great. Oh, I love that. I mean, and
Because
that's a great
everyone's like their
dedication.
own character. Everyone has their own freaking Mordor. So you
Yes.
don't have to go alone.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. You are Sam.
Yeah,
And, and you can declare that I am Sam. I am a great Sam.
I'm a great Sam. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, and I've been speaking a lot to people that, sometimes that's what community is about, is that support,
Mhm.
and finding people who have walked the walk before you, or are
Mhm.
willing to walk beside you, or are walking beside you.
Yeah.
And 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 their dedication isn't one of criticism, it's one of pure support, honoring like we're human, and there's compassion, but there's also a sight that sees what truly is possible. And I think that's the beautiful balancing act there when
Yeah.
working with people. It's like we have the sight, and we also have the compassion. We know that sometimes the smallest thing can make the biggest difference for someone, right? Just a
Yeah.
small little act, a small little action can make the biggest difference for someone. I think I'm tending to lean on those small little acts that can make the biggest difference for me.
It is. It's a daily practice. Honestly, it's a like you just to create the life you want to live, you got to wake up each morning and do little things, right? To pull
Mm-hmm.
yourself into that state of mind, into that state of being. We really do create our reality. And we can help be that mirror to help other people create theirs. If we believe in them, if we, can mirror the possibilities.
Yeah, I love that. I'm
Mhm.
feeling that in my heart. I wanted to turn some time over to you about that,
Okay.
talking about how we can live purposefully, since that is, your intentions is a part of what you're creating in your world, the intentions yoga,
Mhm.
and talking about that a little bit. And then I would love for you to offer us some kind of technique or something that we can take to help us assimilate and integrate all these energies that we're feeling, because they're a lot right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot. So, yeah, intentions yoga, kind of like what I did with when I started my health and wellness journey and going to the gym every day and working out. It's the same technique I applied to my spiritual journey, getting up, doing the same things, but this time it would be like a yoga practice and gratitude, or catching my thoughts and being very intentional with how I want to think first thing in the morning. And so I could
Mm-hmm.
start to pull myself into that trajectory. What I have noticed now is that I was, yeah, very kind of drill sergeant-y about it. Like, you've got to get up at 6 a.m. You've got to hit the mat. You've got to, otherwise, well, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't want to know what was going to happen. I just wanted to go in that way. But over the past even just three months, maybe 4, I've realized I've pulled myself to a place now where I can get up. I can decide. I still have to do a practice, a breath work, a gratitude, a journal, a yoga, and I mix it up. But I'm comfortable, confident enough that I can do what feels right for me to do. I don't have to stick to this regiment. That being said, if you're in a dark place, having that regiment can be so important. So if do we want to do a practice already? We can do a fiery breath if you'd like.
Ooh, fiery bread. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. So I'll lead us into it with a little meditation, and then we'll do the breath. Now, some contraindications for this breath. It's called breath of fire. And if you're pregnant or if you have heart issues, just do long, deep breathing. If you start to get dizzy throughout the breath, just do long, deep breathing. What the breath of fire does is we have those chakra points, right? And it connects in with our solar plexus chakra which is our fire energy, and it generates all the heat in that area, as well as in our sacral chakra as well. And it helps to pull that up, and kind of like cleaning out a furnace. We're like cleaning out, we're giving our energy system like this nice flush to get that stagnant, stuck energy out of the system. Okay, so just come to a nice comfortable seat. You can be sitting on a chair, sitting in easy pose, and I'll just get you to close down your eyes, coming to the breath. Taking a few conscious breaths here. And now we'll do a body scan, but we'll also check in with our chakra points as we do this. So taking our attention down to the base of your spine, coming into our root chakra, Muladhara in Sanskrit. This is our connection to earth, to safety, security. Relaxing your hip sockets, releasing your thighs, sitting up nice and tall, relaxing the belly, connecting in with Svadhisthana, which is our sacral chakra, our water element, creativity, sexuality. Moving up, softening through the torso, continuing to keep that nice straight spine, connecting in to Manipura, our solar plexus, that jewel, our fire. And then we're going to take a nice deep inhalation, sending that energy up into heart center, connecting with that compassion, with that courage, with love. Exhale, releasing your shoulders, shoulder blades down your back. Lengthening through the neck, connecting with Vashuddha, throat chakra, speaking our truth, standing in our truth. Oh, so powerful. Relaxing your jaw. Coming into Ajna, third eye. Taking your gaze behind your closed eyelids into your third eye space. Knowing that whatever you can imagine, you can create. Divine creator being, connecting to intuition and imagination. And we'll take a nice deep inhale, sending it up into Sahasrara, connecting with all that is divinity, whatever that is for you. Seeing your guides cheering, cheering us on. Yes, 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 yes. All right. So now we're ready for the practice. We're going to do what's called ego eradicators. So we're going to bring our...
I want to say that was brilliant. I loved that.
Amazing.
Okay.
Okay, so your fingertips go in, your thumbs come out. I'm going to lean back here so you can see me. And what we want to do is we want to bring our arms up to 60 degrees, like they have an arc, right? Okay. So that's what we're going to do with our arms. You can bring them down now, though, because you don't want to hold them up that long. And then the breath is through the nose. It's a panting breath. And as you inhale, you contract that solar plexus area. So it's a panting breath through the nose. So it looks like this. There you go. You got it. You got it. We won't do it for very long, just a little under a minute. And we're going to bring our arms up and thumbs up in that arc. Closing your eyes, you take your gaze into your third eye point and begin breath of fire. All right, let's take a nice deep inhale. Keep your hands lifted as you inhale. You're going to bring your thumbs to touch over your head. Exhale, open your hands, and they're going to go left to right, coming down, sweeping out any negativity, anything that you cleaned out, clearing your auric field, planting that energy back into Mama Gaia so she can be that great recycling mother that she is. Take a nice deep breath in.
That was awesome. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So that's just a really great, it's a really great practice to do in the morning to just get you going, to really empower, get you cleaned out, get that sluggish energy like literally burnt off, right?
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. I think morning is really a key thing. My guides a while back, I have a CD out for morning meditations, and it's a really, really cool, and it's fun to feel the breath work that my guides bring into me. It's not as complicated, but and at the same time though, it's always very powerful. But I love with the expert training that you have, what comes forward. And my guides are always telling me, Gwen, we can't teach you everything. I mean, we give you certain amounts, but we can't teach you everything. There are other people who are going to teach you things. So I think it's really great. I hope whoever's here, you can, make note of that spot in the video and, use it if it really is helpful for you. And I'll make sure to include a little morning something here too. So this will be a little bit of a morning encouragement to everyone. This episode will be encouraging that morning time because it really is important, the morning and how we set up our day. I was listening to someone and they were reminding me and I felt like, oh gosh, I've made progress because in the morning now when I wake up, there's joy. And I remember, I sit in the joy and I make sure to spend the time of sitting in the joy and recognizing and saying, oh, these exciting things that are happening in my life and look at what's going on. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like things have to be a certain way, but just feeling like I've been choosing my life and I'm on this journey and there's so much joy in it. And then at night when I lay down and go to sleep, there's that same joy there too. And I can go to sleep just closing my eyes and just in gratitude and saying, I'm so grateful to be alive. Like, even if I felt depressed that day, or even if there was something rough that I got to walk through or release, it's just, this is the most beautiful way for me to enter into those realms and let whatever unfolds in the night unfold. Because we're going through all kinds of processes in the night.
Yeah.
And so I think entering and leaving that, I think, can have a great effect on people for really switching their mindset,
Yeah, I think it's awful how our society has gotten to a place where people click the alarm clock right away. They're running into the shower. They're late for work. They've got to get to work. Like there's no thought. All the thought is I got to be in this place at this time or somebody's going to get mad at me.
Yeah.
It's like, no wonder we're off track.
Yeah.
No wonder people don't feel good. They're not getting a chance to connect. We're not robots, right?
Exactly. No, I think this is so important. And I know there are people that is the life that they have to do and things are set at certain times. But if there's any possibility that you can offer yourself those moments of real connection where you can sit and breathe and find gratitude and align yourself to you feeling that bright and vibrant self. You can even learn to do it while you're rushing to work if you train yourself well enough.
That's what I had to do. And I guess it was more of like a reflection on me of like what I was doing, just getting up and being like crazy to know I had to, okay, no, you're getting up 2 hours before you go to work, you're doing XYZ, then going to work, right?
Yeah.
But that discipline and doing that really did work and got me to a place that I no longer have to be that disciplined to feel bliss and joy and to stay in that like higher vibration, right? I'm just kind of there. I just like my entire vibration sort of went up, right? So
That's amazing. I love that note. I love that note because everyone talks about, this high vibration and it's like, it's a flow. You don't have to work or whatever, but I mean, it takes conscious effort to choose in all the time. And it's like you put yourself in a practice to help you be consistent in putting yourself there. And I think that's something to recognize for all of us is that, yes, the truth of us is beauty, is peace, is love, but we also sometimes get to train ourselves to be there and to help guide ourselves so that we can be in that system. We can claim that system for ourselves.
Everybody's going to have a different path. And if I kind of look at it like again with the Lord of the Rings, like for me to get to where I am, it felt like I had to go through Mordor. So like, I had to go through that. It was a lot of work. I had to want it. It was really important to me, and it was a lot of work. And so, and I think there is a lot of people out there like that. And if you want to be able to come to a comfortable, relaxed place of that higher vibration where your brain, like it's also mental work too, and mindset work, where you're not allowing your mind and your emotions to just take the reins and run away on you. Like that takes consistent focus and effort. So yeah, like I would love it if it didn't take work, if I could have just been like, oh sweet, I feel great. Like awesome.
Yeah.
It was work. For me, that's my personal journey.
Yeah. I think everyone's kind of in different spaces on that journey. But if you're here and you're like, gosh, everyone seems to have it down, and why does it feel so hard for me? It is a journey. And sometimes we work and then suddenly some key will open and we're like, oh, wow, okay. And then we'll have to work on another specific area, and then another key will open, and then like, whoa, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And so for me, sometimes I get to honor that the treasure that I find when I work through that process, it's the gold, And if it wasn't the process that I had, I might not recognize it for the gold that it was, right?
I really love that.
Yeah, and so we get to recognize that gold for ourselves and go through the process until we're like, this is the gold, this is the key, this is the beauty for me. And then let it synthesize and alchemize in our system for us to be able to be walking in it and walking through it. So
absolutely. That's like the healing journey for me. I had to be at a certain level for me to realize certain things. Like I wouldn't have been able to handle some of the, the bigger things that I had to deal with in my own psyche, in my own self, come to terms with, in order to be at that level, to come for the healing to transpire, so then I can continue to go, right?
Yeah.
To become fully conscious.
Yeah. It's a steps of support along the way. We get to establish our support so that we have that for ourselves.
Absolutely. All the people that have helped me in different ways. Oh, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
That's so great. I love that. I'm feeling called to ask you, I don't know, like I feel like there's a story coming through, and there's a story like that you can share with us about how you help people open to those tough things, how you support them in your body work and somatic work. And so I feel like there's a story that's coming through. So Alecia, take it away. Tell me the story.
Okay. So, okay. So like, I think I can really see in people when they are suffering, when they have pain, because I have had pain. My mom died when I was 15, spurred me into a life of drugs, a very unintentional, right, living, dropped out of university, ended up a single mom when I was 3 months pregnant, like just all of those things. And but what really came through after a lot of work was that as a very intuitive child, and my mother, God rest her soul, she was, I believe, also very intuitive, but she also had a lot of anxiety and she smoked a lot of cigarettes, and like she wasn't on her healing path. And I think as a child, I was constantly picking up her anxiety, and my gifts weren't seen, and like that's like kind of why I want to like be that real like cheerleader for somebody, right? And yeah, so I think and then I mean, with her passing when I was 15, I never was able to figure out that that's what was wrong with me. I literally just thought I was reckless. I was just like a slutty drug addict, right? And like, I now have a wonderful life, but there was just always that like, like why was I that way?
Yeah.
And so it's honestly just connecting the dots in myself, and the body work. Like I can just feel, I can feel the body a lot. And I guess I don't really, I don't know how else to say it except for that's like my intuition, where my intuition comes. And
Yeah.
so I guess like when I see people in pain, I want to help. Like I want to help. And so that's the somatic experiencing, is that trauma relief therapy. But rather than going about it by talking through the story, I'm going to help you release that energy that's at the root of that. Because like, as we know, we're traumatized when we're kids, but then it comes into our life at many different times, right? It's that same energy that we experienced, but it's coming through in different situations that have nothing to do with the event that traumatized us.
Yeah.
And so for instance, like when I'm working with people, a lot of mother wounds, a lot of the core wounds, mother wound, father wound, sister wound, witch wound. And then these are in their body, and everybody's going to be holding it differently. Like the one lady, she's got like a brick here. Another one, it's like pebbles are moving. Another one's got like a tumbleweed coming up and down. And then this other lady, it was over her heart and it was a disc. And so you go in and you get curious. What is this energy? And then instead of thinking about it, this is the story, this is what caused it, and then just feeling all icky, but not actually having like a somatic conversation with the energy itself. And so this is interesting. You have to be kind of a detective, because it's not the same. And it's like, oh, this, and like another lady who came, she had like, she was like, it's like kind of like logs around her head. Like that's the texture. Like we go for texture, sensation, color, movement. Like, is it rippling? Is it bubbling? Like what is flowing? And she said like eventually it was like these logs, and it's like, oh, like she's in burnout. She's in absolute burnout. And she had that energy in her head as like those burnt logs, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, and then it's just, I hold the space. We do some work with the chakras, right? We bring in anahata and just like some heart and like empowering that, and, tapping into, I have different mantras that have come to me, and then other ones from other people that I use. I just kind of bring that all together, and just want to help.
Yeah. I love that. Somatic work is really amazing, and there's so many ways that people go about it, but I love that you're really entering into it. Like it sounds like you have a real visual. I mean, you're so connected to the body, but in a way you can feel the energy in almost a representation of what it is. And then you can have a discussion with it. You can work with it.
Yes.
to help it move and to help it feel accepted. Or
Yeah.
my dad talks a lot about things becoming integrated. It's really because these things, they've been separated and not been able to be processed, that they cause such an issue in our lives. And so being able to work with energy, I think, is so beautiful. And sometimes people say it's somatic work and they're out there yelling down a volcano, or whatever. And sometimes that's part of what it will be, and other times it'll look really different. It will be more of a soft experience, and that kind of a thing. If anyone here has not gone through my different episodes, season 1, I had this beautiful experience that I had with a somatic practitioner, and it was able to help me to connect more to masculine energy in my body, and it was such a really fun experience. So if you haven't checked that out, check it out, and it'll kind of give you an example of how it might work, how it might work for you. But I would love to, in the future, do, have an example or pull you in and have a little bit of example to show people of what that looks like.
Yeah.
Because I think that is a key for people to learn to trust, and it's okay. It's going to be okay. It's like you can give them permission to say, I'm going to be cared for. And I feel, just being with you, with Alecia, I feel like you have a huge amount of power in being able to work with people somatically. So I'm feeling into that, and I'm excited to offer that to people. And people just look for our next meeting, look for our next podcast, and for us to get together and do that. So I'm so excited for that. Before we take off, I'm encouraging everyone who is listening to make sure to subscribe to my channel, to give me a thumbs up or comment about your experiences in 2023, about your awakening and the energies that you've had to deal with. We would love to hear about that. And I'm going to include a beautiful link. Alecia has some beautiful information for us. Alecia, tell me what this link is going to take people to so they can be helped.
So the link will take you to my free resources page on my website, Intentions Yoga. And when you're there, you're going to find a beautiful ebook. It's 7 daily practices to raise your vibration and align with joy. These are all the practices that I've used. So you'll get that. There is a workshop on getting what you desire, following the Hermetic principles. If you're into that, if you subscribe, you can get a 3-day Kundalini Yoga Challenge for starseeds and light workers. And
yes,
a link to my YouTube. Check it out.
Yeah, so we're going to make sure that there's links down here in our summary, and then also at the first comment, we're going to pin that for both Alecia and I. I'm going to make sure to include also a free soul play experience for you. And when we end this, I'm going to put on one of our fun soul play reboots. We've been talking about the morning. We've been talking about it doesn't take long to help you start your day right. And so I'm going to leave you with something like that for all of you to just celebrate and feel into the love. Okay. Any last words, Alecia, before we take off for today?
Oh man. Thank you for watching. Keep going on your journey, and thank you so much, Gwen, for having me on. This has been such a beautiful conversation. I'm so grateful, and say hey to your guides for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say normally I channel at the end, but I feel like I channeled at the beginning. They leave you with a blessing. They have so much love and heart for you, and so I'm just surprised at how much love they're shedding on you. And so we're going to definitely see each other again and encourage each other in our paths, because this is our magnificent unfolding, everybody. Let's do it together.
In this 5-minute reboot, you will be entering an imaginary world of superheroes. Take 3 deep breaths as you close your eyes and enter this imaginary world. Start by seeing where you live. a sprawling city or town. See the buildings and people here, busy, bustling, running to work, taking care of their lives, and they feel secure and safe. Why? Because you are here. You are one of the superheroes. Breathe deeply and be with you as a superhero. Imagine you are looking in the mirror. You are wearing your most kick-ass superhero outfit and you feel great in it. What do you look like? Pay attention to the details. Now remember back to when you found your superhero powers. Your story starts with what you thought was a weakness. Look back into the story and see this weakness. And now see how you discovered your superpowers. And suddenly your weakness became a strength. Take the time, breathe deeply, and allow the story to arise. How were your skills developed and used? Watch yourself transform all the way to who you are today, a competent, adaptable superhero, ready at any moment. Open and watch carefully. You are uncovering information deep within you. Now breathe deeply as you imagine yourself using one of your superpowers. Fantastic! What does it feel like when you use these powers? Can you feel a spark within you? Be with your body. Feel the sensation and let it flow through you. Feel yourself using your superpowers again. Breathe and feel the sensation and the power flow through your body. As we come to a close, take 3 deep breaths and finish these phrases out loud. Say, "My name is," and state your superhero name. "My superpower is," and finish the statement. Finally say, "I overcome," and finish the sentence. Ring these 3 statements all together. My name is. My superpower is. I overcome. Yes, own it. And now step forward as the superhero that you are. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Welcome to Channeling. Till the next episode, own your stage and play on.
Hot Muffin Media.